Friends, today we're diving into an ancient mystery, a story that has challenged faith for centuries, a question that lingers in the heart of every believer. Why do good people suffer? The story of Job is a gripping, heart-wrenching account of a righteous man who lost everything, his wealth, his children, his health, yet never lost his faith in God. It's a story that seems to defy logic, where an all-powerful, all-loving God allows an innocent man to endure unimaginable pain. This profound puzzle has led countless people to doubt, to question, and to turn away. But what if Job's story isn't just about suffering? What if it's a window into the unseen spiritual world, a revelation of divine truths that we often miss? Get ready to challenge everything you thought you knew about faith and suffering, because we are about to uncover 3 truths from the book of Job that will change the way you see God's plan forever. This journey might just be the spiritual awakening you've been searching for. The book of Job is a masterpiece of ancient literature, a profound theological dialogue set against the backdrop of immense personal tragedy. It begins with a simple yet powerful description of a man named Job who lived in the land of Uz. He is introduced as a man who was blameless and upright, one who feared God and shunned evil. He was incredibly wealthy, with vast possessions and a large, loving family. In the first chapter of the book, we get an extraordinary glimpse behind the curtain of the physical world. Satan, the adversary, presents himself before God. When God points out Job's unwavering faith, Satan cynically challenges God, arguing that Job's righteousness is merely a product of his blessings. Does Job fear God for nothing? Satan asks, implying that if God were to remove his blessings, Job would surely curse him to his face. This is the central conflict, a cosmic wager on the nature of human faith. It's not about what Job did wrong, it's about what God knows to be true about his servant. This divine exchange sets the stage for a story that is not a straightforward lesson in cause and effect, but a deep exploration of faith, sovereignty, and the mysterious nature of suffering. It is a story that forces us to confront the very heart of why we believe. The first profound truth we must confront from Job's story directly challenges one of the most persistent and damaging misconceptions about suffering, the idea that it is always a punishment for sin. This was the central argument of Job's 3 friends, Eliphaz, Bildad, and Zophar. They arrived to comfort Job, but their words quickly turned to accusation. Eliphaz, the first to speak, lays out their case with a seemingly logical premise. Think now, who that was innocent ever perished? Or where were the upright destroyed? Job 4:7. They believed that God is just, and a just God would only punish the wicked. Therefore, since Job was suffering, he must have sinned. They urged him to confess his hidden wickedness to God and seek forgiveness. This perspective is understandable, but it is fundamentally flawed, and the book of Job exists to dismantle it. The prologue, which the friends are not privy to, explicitly tells us that Job was blameless and upright. God himself testifies to Job's righteousness. His suffering was not a consequence of his actions, but a demonstration of his character. This truth is a vital anchor for us today. When we or our loved ones face trials, it is tempting to ask, "What did I do to deserve this?" Job's story teaches us that this is often the wrong question. It invites us to consider a deeper, more mysterious reality, that God's purposes are not always tied to our earthly performance. Sometimes suffering is not a period, but a comma, a temporary pause on the path to a greater revelation of God's glory and a more refined faith. This is a radical, freeing truth that separates Job's suffering from a simple case of cause and effect, and instead places it within a divine narrative far beyond human understanding. The second profound truth revealed in the book of Job is that our earthly existence is intimately connected to a spiritual reality we cannot see. The story begins not on earth, but in the heavenly courts, where God and Satan are engaged in a conversation about a man named Job. This dialogue is crucial because it gives us a context for Job's suffering that is completely hidden from him and his friends. Job and his friends only see the physical calamities, the Sabaeans stealing his oxen, the fire from heaven burning his sheep, the wind destroying his children's home, and the painful sores on his body. From their perspective, these events are purely circumstantial or, as the friends believe, a direct result of sin. But we, the readers, are given privileged information. We know that these events are not random acts of fate. They are the direct result of a cosmic conflict, a spiritual battle taking place in the heavenly realms. Satan's goal is to prove that human faith is conditional, that it is a transaction of blessing for loyalty. God's purpose is to demonstrate that true faith, the kind found in Job, is unconditional and enduring, even in the face of immense suffering. This reveals a chilling and powerful truth. Your life, your faith, and your trials are not isolated events. They are part of a larger spiritual narrative, a testimony to the unseen world. When we face our own challenges, it is vital to remember that there might be a spiritual reality at play that we are completely unaware of. The enemy seeks to discredit God's children, but God allows these moments to prove our faith and to bring glory to his name. Job's suffering was not a meaningless tragedy. It was a divine demonstration of steadfast faith to the entire spiritual realm. The third and most transformative truth from the book of Job is that true faith is not a transactional relationship based on blessings, but an unwavering trust in God's character, regardless of our circumstances. This is the truth that Satan tried to disprove and that Job's friends failed to understand. In the face of unimaginable loss, Job's initial reaction was not to curse God, but to worship him. Naked I came from my mother's womb, and naked shall I return there. The Lord gave, and the Lord has taken away. Blessed be the name of the Lord. Job 1:21. This is the hallmark of a faith that is not dependent on what God gives, but on who God is. Later, as his suffering intensifies and his friends hurl accusations, Job's faith is tested to its breaking point. He cries out to God, demanding answers, but he never abandons his trust. In his darkest moment, he declares, "Though he slay me, yet will I trust him." Job 13:15. This is the pinnacle of genuine, unconditional faith. Job's faith wasn't blind. It was a deeply personal, wrestled with trust that saw beyond his pain to the sovereignty and goodness of God. He understood that his relationship with God was not a contract where blessings were guaranteed in exchange for righteousness. Instead, it was an intimate connection that transcended all earthly suffering and misunderstanding. This is a truth that resonates powerfully today. When our prayers seem to go unanswered, when our lives are filled with pain, and when the blessings we've known are taken away, Job's story stands as a beacon. It calls us to a deeper faith, one that finds its ultimate security not in our comfort or prosperity, but in the unshakable nature of our God. So, how do we apply these timeless truths from Job to our lives today? First, we must stop playing the blame game. When faced with trials, resist the urge to believe that you are being punished for a hidden sin. Instead, ask God what he wants you to learn and trust in his sovereign purpose. Second, remember the spiritual battle. The next time you face a difficult season, understand that it may be part of an unseen spiritual drama, a testimony to the enemy and a witness to the heavenly host. Let your faith be a light in the darkness, a declaration that your trust is in God alone. Finally, cultivate a faith that is unconditional. Learn to worship God not just for the blessings he gives, but for who he is. Let your faith be rooted in his character, his goodness, his love, and his sovereignty, not in your circumstances. Job's story isn't just an ancient tale of suffering. It's a powerful revelation of a faith that survives the storm. It teaches us that even when we don't understand God's plan, we can trust his heart. Let us end with Job's own words, a timeless declaration of faith. I know that my Redeemer lives and that in the end he will stand on the earth. Job 19:25. What has Job's story taught you about suffering and faith? Share your thoughts in the comments below.